some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes a ticket to USC plus Akron or Houston Christian and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. Purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, my good people? Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We are Old School, coming at you live 1040 O Street with this little bit of traffic. The wind is down. Now you don't have to batten down the hatches for 72 hours like it was before.
And grill over an open flame.
Oh, my God. Listen, brush fires galore probably would have started, if people were trying to grill out there. We are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Old Cheney / Andre Matt, and 168th and Maple, up there in the O, the Metro, Omaha, the greater metropolitan city of Nebraska, the only one, as they like to say. A lot going on. Obviously, we have NBA champion crowned. I know you guys talked about it probably for a couple hours on the block. I will say this is like, obviously you guys probably combed over it pretty easy. I think the Thunder is probably going to be, I think they're going to have to work harder to be more appreciated fully. And I think it's also, it's a byproduct of when you look at their celebration in the locker room, they were probably in and out of there very quickly.
The NBA posted a picture of all the beer that didn't get drank in that locker room.
Yeah, they just drove
Caruso
home.
and Hartenstein making jokes about they don't know how to pop a champagne bottle.
Yeah, it's almost reminiscent of Jeff Teague who has I think it's 502 podcast or something.
He's really good at it.
He's really good. And,
He's great.
and his homeboy is probably the best because he has no filter. He talked about when they won a championship when he won a championship with the Bucks, and he drove home like middle of the night and went back to Indianapolis and turned up. And I think I think the celebration is a byproduct of Shea, Alexander, their superstar, very low key, family man, not very flamboyant, just about his business. But then also, I think it's a byproduct of their team when they have a player of the game, whether it's Shea, either Williams, Dort, Caruso, whoever it is, they're all in there. So that lets
Minnesota's very own.
Yeah, Chet had he played defense. I think he's
most blocks in NBA Game 7.
Yeah, he's a prey mantis. He doesn't look very strong. He doesn't look very
wiry
big,
strong,
but he is though wiry strong. He's tough.
That's what people used to say about me.
Yeah. Wiry
now I'm dad strong.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Listen, you will. When you carry around a kid, you don't have to have big arms. You just got that. That's where that grown man strength comes from. It's either carrying around a bunch of kids and carrying 8 million things into the car, into the house, or growing up throwing hay bales. That's right. Yeah. So it's either or.
But let me ask you this about OKC. Do you feel like they're set up for a quote unquote dynasty run such as there is in the NBA? They're the 7th champion in 7 years. Do you think we're in for an era of OKC on top for a while in the West? Or do you have any concerns about OKC? Maybe they got lucky. Maybe this group of guys, got blessed by the Tyrese Halliburton injury. You still don't trust them to finish. This is just a blip on the radar. They'll be good, but not championship.
I think they'll be a short dynasty. I'm little hesitant to do it because you couldn't have told me the Nuggets with my man Bloodline and the Joker and that crew wouldn't be where OKC is right now. It wouldn't have been doing 3 in a row. And I think things changed. I think success is so hard for this generation and these young players to deal with is 2 reasons. Number one, you never reach this type of success even in AAU or high school because it's not even that. You're just there to get yours. And then you go and play 1 year at college, then you're a lottery pick, then you kind of figure it out. And Shea Alexander, remember, he was just a kind of rotational player at best with the Clippers. OKC saw something in him, and then now this is your new stardom. The problem is now everybody's going to try to pluck little, intricate pieces off their roster, including assistant coaches, GMs, eventually over the next 2 or 3 years. So that will have an effect on them.
And new CBA. You're going to be down either Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren.
Right. And that's huge.
Make your choice.
And that's huge. So then you have to start making some choices. We saw it in a way with Memphis. Right. Bane and Ja. And so it's like, okay.
Well, there was Bane and Jaren.
Jaren.
Yeah. And they chose Jaren.
And then on top of it, they chose Ja. I would have kept Bane and Jaren Jackson. Yeah. That's just me because I can trust them. But they are rolling the dice on Ja because he puts butts in the stands and more sellable. But you also have to, there's a cost analysis into what you return on investment keeping a guy like Ja or keeping, Shea and Chet. Because if you pay Shea, you got and you keep Chet, you got to pay him. Well, then that means Williams is gone. Okay, so then say the NBA changes, right? And then so the style of play changes. Say you lose your coach or lose assistant coach, and say you lose some of those, like you lose Caruso that he's able to get a bigger deal based on being a 2-time.
Gets the KCP deal,
right? He's got to take it. It's like Bruce Brown when he was with the Nuggets. He has to take it. You lose KCP, right, from the Nuggets, right? First of all, from the Lakers, right, and then the Nuggets, and then right. So you got to keep going, and so those things, it's the fabric of that championship DNA. But they're a young team. They have a lot of depth. They still have, and they still have some assets. They can still acquire some good players. So I think they'll go on a mini run, but also think that everybody is a lot closer than what it seemed like this regular season. You get what I'm saying? And so you never would have thought Indiana would have been that close, but Indiana has their own issues. This is a one-time thing. Your star player is essentially out for next year.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
okay, so he's out for next year. Yeah. So now we're already into 2027 with him. Miles Turner, does that benefit him? Does he negotiation?
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm going in there with a different type of number now, or a different type of reality of who I am. I'm still the same player, but the big dog's out. So
money's got to go somewhere.
So now you might have to be, you feel obligated to pay him more than maybe, or you pay him and kind of overpaying, kind of like DeAndre Ayton. Remember when he had that really good run in the playoffs, and he was a good player. And then once he got paid, he lost all types of sense of reality. He couldn't get to work in Portland.
And let's not pretend like Phoenix did him any favors.
No. By sending him to Portland?
Well, by not exactly amplifying his skill set before they sent him to Portland.
And also, the head coach really didn't like him.
That part.
And really didn't think he was good.
That part.
So, yes, Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And
they did again. We did not get to that on the block. That probably takes more time. But
yeah, so we're going to do one more NBA thing and obviously put a bow on that. And then we got big news out of Husker land. They got another commit. And obviously it's a byproduct of the camps and the social media stuff they've been doing, it seems like, for, all of June. So anyways, Kevin Durant on the sneak, on the down, like he was doing something with Fanatics.
Yeah.
He was doing kind of like a
fan event.
A fan event with Fanatics, and found out he was getting traded mid-presentation.
Do you think that was staged at all?
I think I will tell you, I've been traded before.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. And I didn't handle it right. I didn't handle it as cool.
You were
as
not
Derek.
On stage at Fanatics Fan Fest?
No, I was at the practice facility. I showed up looking for war. I still got on the same private jet to go to Houston that I was going on, even when I was looking for war. So I might have won the battle,
but the NFL.
But actually, I won the war. I probably lost a little battle. They heard me, and then they were petty, and I still was out of town. I still had to pay first and last month's rent.
Sad,
but the McNair family took care of me. They paid for it, and they paid for the move quick.
H-Town got KD too, so the second legend they've gotten in a trade.
Yeah. Kevin Durant goes to Houston. A lottery pick, Jalen Green, is gone. Now, if I'm Devin Booker, bro, I'm trying to get up out of there now. Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are looking at this dude coming in? You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. Who are you more interested in from this trade, Phoenix or Houston? Which end is more interesting to you?
I'm more interested in Houston because on paper it makes them a title contender. Because
so let's hit Phoenix then.
Okay,
real quick.
Yeah, I don't know what that's.
Phoenix has failed Devin Booker.
Yeah,
the man has had 7 head coaches.
Yeah,
I think he can be an NBA franchise guy. Hall of Famer, probably not. Olympic role, played it perfectly.
Yeah,
Devin Booker can be a number 1.
Oh yeah,
Devin Booker can be that dude.
Yeah,
that's why I love them getting Chris Paul, veteran mentor. Handle the ball, set him up for easy shots. He can handle late in games. It's fine. Why did Phoenix take the bait and try to go in on the big 3? Again. Why did they get positional overlap with Bradley Beal? We can make Brad Beal play the 1, shift Devin Booker to the 1, and then you go give up all that for KD, who was worth it.
Yeah.
KD was insane in Phoenix, if you look at the numbers.
And then you have Bradley Beal, who's a Hall of Famer, coming off the bench. Tries to. Stupid, and now it's another dumb move.
Yes,
you bring a dude in here that has no ability to play with structure, just a very good very good player, AAU superstar on steroids, to go with a wily veteran and Bradley Beal, who's trying to figure out
what the heck he's doing in the NBA right now,
and Devin Booker, who's off probably in Italy, thinking.
Well, and Grayson Allen, who's got 40% from 3 again. Same position.
All of them.
Yeah, here's this. So Tommy Beer, NBA writer, what the Suns gave up for Kevin Durant: Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, and 5 unprotected first-round picks. 4 picks and a swap. That's what they gave up for KD. Here's what they got back: Jalen Green, positional overlap like you just mentioned, Dylan Brooks, the number 10 in this year's draft, and 5 second-rounders. That's what they got back. Phoenix, fold. You suck.
They just getting fleeced. You know what Phoenix is? Phoenix is they're operating like their expansion team.
Seriously.
You know when you can just call up. You know like you ever see like the Hard Knocks. Like let's call this dummy. He always looking for a deal. That's it. He's always down for a deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing NBA 2K, build a franchise with no ramifications if you don't do it right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of it, now I will say this, and I'm saying this reluctantly.
Okay.
The one guy I think Houston might miss is Dylan Brooks. Only in what he does, kind of defensive guy. You could take some. KD will D up, but I like to save KD's defense for playoffs. Dylan Brooks to kind of, if he really would get paid the same and dummy down his role and stop trying to be Draymond and just be Dylan Brooks before, right, when he was actually, when he was a second-round pick and kind of, fought his way onto the roster and all that, and has ability to switch in size and all that, and could be a second unit scorer if you need him to, right, from three, kind of, that I think if they could have, it would have been a total fleece. It's 95% fleece.
If Dylan Brooks is a real tough guy as opposed to a fake tough guy, and he was setting the tone for Houston, they'll have to make that up.
Right.
But if he was front runner tough, just there for the vibe.
Yeah.
Guys didn't really like him. He's out there because of his reputation. I think Thompson is tough. I think Tari Eason is tough.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think Fred VanVleet is tough.
Oh yeah.
I think Şengün is that European kind of tough.
Yeah.
I don't think
KD's tough too. So they got enough tough guys. But I think that and you're right, Dylan Brooks is more of a he's a Halloween tough guy.
Sure.
Cameras on, he's tough. And I think he's a tough guy. I just think he tries to do it too much.
Yeah.
He tries to, he sees the, like I think Draymond's like straight up tough.
And goes too far.
Right,
but it's at least legit.
But that's just him. He just he doesn't have an off switch. Whereas Dylan's trying it, and there's only one Draymond that's been able to do it. He's able to be a point forward and end up being a Hall of Famer. So I think it's going to be interesting to see Houston and the next step they take, because VanVleet and obviously Durant are obviously getting a little bit longer in their tooth. And then does this help Thompson take that next step? And I think that's part of the reason you got rid of Green, because I think Thompson's mindset and the way he played in the playoffs, I think made Houston's like, all right, we can make this trade easy. And we feel very comfortable with this trade.
He can be a 16-game guy.
Right. And so, and I think Şengün, will flourish with KD.
I think so.
I think the spacing in KD will make him a better player. And I think their skills, I think that Houston is going to be a problem. And I like their coach. And,
so does KD. KD tried to get Ime hired when he was in Brooklyn.
Yeah. I mean, in Duque, I would kill his day, man, just because he had the biggest. He's a good coach. He's tough. I think he was a really good coach when he was at Boston. I think, they would have won a championship if he stayed. I mean, obviously he had a little bit of dust up off the field or off the court, and I don't really think I think for what went on, I think it was too far, but that's why I think everybody else knew it, and that's why he was able to get a job. And so I think it's Houston's benefit. I think he's done a really good job of coming in there and setting a culture. And I think the GM and the decision makers are lock in step with him. When you go get VanVleet and then also Dylan Brooks, it actually settles the waters of that young, wild team. That was kind of like Orlando, and Orlando's matured. So I like it. I mean, I think it brings some excitement back to Houston. I think KD is excited about. I think you're going to see KD is going to be KD. KD is going to be 50 and still get you 26, 8-6. So I think he's going to go down there and hoop.
I think KD is the better version of Melo in a lot of ways. Maybe a little more drama than Melo at the end of the day. But from the Houston side of things, they're taking their chance at being OKC 2.0. Because think about, they didn't give back a single one of Phoenix's first-round picks.
Yeah.
The Phoenix gave them in a different deal. They get rid of Jalen Green, who they just paid like $35 million a year.
Thank you.
Who they took a swing, they missed. Okay, it happens. They kept Thompson, they kept Şengün, they like Jabari Smith, who I'm not completely sold on, but okay, they seem to think he's a building block. And you still have a little bit of space to work. You still have capital. You still have enough to go get Giannis, which I think would be a terrible move, but it's on the table. You got to give up Şengün, but I'd rather roll with 23-year-old Şengün and KD and then save those assets for the next.
If you can get Giannis, you got to move Şengün. I wish Jabari was a little bit farther along, because that's the perfect guy to move. He's a lottery pick. But Milwaukee.
Where did Jabari go to college?
Alabama.
No. Auburn.
That's right. Auburn.
Brandon Miller.
Yeah, Brandon Miller. Right. And it was like back to back, right? Yeah, Brandon Miller, a little gangster out there trying to but I look at it though. I look at Milwaukee almost like Phoenix. They are open for business. The fact that Giannis is going to be potentially going to be on the move, that lets you know it's blow up city. Damian Lillard. Once Giannis goes, Damian's gone.
Well, Dame's out with the Achilles too.
Yeah. So it's easy to do because you're out of sight, out of mind. I feel like that you could fleece them like Phoenix. Here's Jabari. He has a lot. KD says he's special. We think he's special too. That's why we kept him just for you.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. at a fresh price of one of probably the most unstoppable force in Shaq.
Literally.
No,
like actual Shaq numbers. Yeah. Probably give up Reed Shepherd or Cam Whitmore.
That's fine. Yeah, you know what? You got
and Jabari.
Right. Yeah, you got all lottery picks. And you know we'll throw in a first round pick for you too.
Just for kicks.
Yeah. Just a little. That's to be a nice little dessert. Call me back in 5 minutes. I know you're going to take the deal.
Just say yes, but tell your family this is happening. Call me back.
Yeah, we already got our jet up there for Giannis. He's coming over from Greece.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it, and especially if you can keep Sengun, would be great. If you got to give him up, so be it. Maybe you have to take on a Brook Lopez for a year. Yeah, I mean, I think if you give up,
Brooks is a free agent.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then you get him for like a kind of a one of those mid-level things, or just kind of a. Because I think he does have championship pedigree. I think with the size, if you're able to get Giannis, he can be off the bench and provide that physical, true toughness. Because he is crazy, but he can be that stretch five too.
Who would you rather have next year, Brook Lopez or Al Horford?
That's tough. I'll go Al Horford because he's more durable right now. Now, if they both were like durability the same, I would say Brook Lopez. Probably tough.
I think
it's tough.
If you don't tell me who's taking these guys in no context, I take Horford. We don't realize just how much of Milwaukee's defense was built around Lopez in drop and Giannis on the weak side.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez is one of the best drop defenders in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think Al Horford's a little more versatile.
Yeah.
And he can fit into more schemes.
And he knows the system that he wants. And I think he's a great leader too.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think he's the opposite of KD. KD's more of action, watch me work. KD will lead, but I think Al will kind of galvanize guys.
Can I drop this comparison? Bryce Williams is KD. They're the same guy. They can be the best player on the team, but it can't be their team. Houston can't be KD's team. He's going to be the best player on the team.
Yeah, he's getting off the plane that way. He knows it too.
But it can't be his team. When Golden State won, KD and Steph were neck and neck.
And that's fine.
But it wasn't KD's team. It was Steph's team.
And you know what? As long as KD is fine with that, then you're going to get the best version of KD. Anytime you've had to have him be that guy, it hasn't worked out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Same with Bryce. Right. There's too much on his shoulder. There wasn't a good enough supporting cast. When Nebraska was good in 23-24, Bryce Williams was arguably the best player. Hooper, right? Casey did something special. Rink did something special. You could see Bryce Williams was the guy in that group that was going to go to the NBA. It wasn't his team.
Yeah. And that's what, sometimes your best ability is have some self-reflection or know who you are.
Yeah.
And also, and then being okay with it. I think, and it's, we got 4 minutes, so we'll just stay here. And this is more of an athlete mindset. You never step on any type of arena, whether it's the baseball diamond or, basketball court, hockey rink, football field, and not think that you're the best. Don't. If you do, then you have no chance.
You're already over.
It's over.
Screwed.
Because then eventually that doubt will just come out in the worst time possible, or in how you go about your business. But also, when thinking that, you also have to have a sense of reality. Maybe once the season is done, or when you're outside of the arena, or when you're in the locker room, actually, and there's a pecking order, and understand this person is better at A and B than me. And it might not be significantly, but it's okay for them. But I can be the best that I can be. And then when I need to step up, then I will be able to step up. But if you're asking me to do all this and then be Kevin Durant, you're not going to get the best Kevin Durant. And and I think that's where the head coach would come in. And I think that's also where Van Fleet is fine. Because he's been in this role. He's played with Kawhi.
Yeah.
And he played with other places where he was just that guy. And that's
Van Fleet was the fourth or fifth option on that Toronto team.
Right. And
Kyle Lowry,
yeah,
Kawhi, Pascal Siakam
right.
was on that team, and Marc Gasol.
Yeah, and they were fine with it. And he was fine with it.
Cool.
And he flourished at it. And then as he started to move up, guys started to leave, then it would start to be his team. But he embodied everything of the championship team. So I think this trade would be,
one more thing.
Houston got the best of this trade.
That part. That leads right into what Virginia Pirate says. He says, I think the Suns are elated they got the deal they got. No, they're not. They didn't get back a single one of their first round picks. That's a problem because they gave up a lot of them. You lost a top 25, at least, player of all time.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant.
Higher, top 20.
I'm just saying,
the worst.
Very baseline.
Yeah.
Depending on how you judge it, right? Who's still playing essentially at his prime after an Achilles injury. It's been really good. You pick up Jalen Green, the positional overlap that we talked about. You're picking 10th when you need a center, and the guy that you want could be off the board by then. All you get are second round picks back.
Yeah.
You missed your chance at the deadline. When you didn't trade KD at the deadline, you allowed him to dictate the terms of where he wanted to go, and then you were at the behest of what other teams could offer.
Right, and you still can't.
Phoenix had no leverage.
And
they did not win this deal. They escaped it. They didn't win it.
They just said, you know what? We're not. If we keep waiting, we're going to get less.
Right.
And you can dice it up and say we got Jalen Green, and in a normal trade, you like that's a great trade because you wouldn't have position overload there, right? But you are, and now you have as much as you think you made a good decision, now you have to make more great decisions. You got to find.
Now's the hard part.
Yeah, you got to. What are you doing? What are you going to do with Bradley Beal?
What can you do with Bradley Beal?
You can't do anything. So you better figure out a way to ask him where he wants to go and just take that on the chin.
Yeah.
And then you have to. It's almost like a coach that has to re-recruit a player when you sign somebody out of the portal at his position, but he already has a big NIL deal like Grayson Allen.
Right.
Then you got to go to your my analogy is the football team. Your All-American wide receiver linebacker that he doesn't have any worries about his position, but he wants to win a Big Ten championship or a SEC ACC championship, and you got to resell him on trying to stay here with Phoenix because we're actually trying to build a winner. When everybody that he looks around that's actually of stature or a good player plays his position.
And they're winning.
Right. So I think Phoenix is trying. I think they finally came to the conclusion we have to make a decision on KD right now because we lost all the leverage. And the funny thing is at the All-Star break or the trade deadline, they weren't even close. They had no life to make a run.
No.
You got to think they did. Remember when they were on national TV and they got blown out? And then they're like they won a couple games in a row, and they're like, oh, okay, we got to figure it out. So we're gonna keep KD.
We're back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you commence to losing 5 in a row.
Whoops.
Yep. Anyways, we're gonna take a quick break. Come back. We're gonna talk about Husker news. We got to commit, and then we'll touch on LSU. Dominating it once again in Omaha. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Lincoln area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 402-858-3220. That's 402-858-3220. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Lincoln, 1221 N Street, Suite 801, Lincoln, Nebraska 68508.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Play ball! Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School to New School way. A lot of Husker news going on, man. Got to commit.
Heck yeah. Been a run of them the last week or so.
Yeah. I mean, I think, sometimes in this instant gratification, instant success of, I guess the way people think, they think you need to have kids in on visits and then they got to commit as soon as they touch down. Now, I think that, I think Lincoln, I experienced it. I didn't know anything about Lincoln, back in the day and anything about Nebraska in general, just in period. And I was obviously impressed enough to, as if you were able to listen last week to my dad, some warmer climates and blue blood schools to come to Lincoln. Now with everything that they going on, obviously Lincoln has grown immensely and they have a lot of more amenities as every other school does. But I think Lincoln has really done a good job of kind of catching up and then obviously, trying to, be ahead of the curve. So that's where it leads to where when you have big recruiting events, they had the 7-on-7 event and had, it seems like a ton of official visits, unofficial visits, and probably had some official visitors that they kept under wraps, trying to, make some headway with them. But you're able to get Danny Odom, a 4-star defensive back corner. I think right now, it doesn't really matter where he comes in at. It's where, he fits in when he gets here because of the flexibility of Butler's defense and how they play. A highly rated 4-star recruit. So that's a good get, man. I think anytime you can get a guy that of that ranking, and especially after you lost CJ, the highest rated recruit, essentially a week before. It's rinse and repeat. My view on recruiting now is that it's no different than when I used to coach basketball, or like a ton of teams, like different age levels, and as here's the funny thing about it, as my teams started to get better and we started to be knocking off some of them dudes, well, then other teams come calling, and guys would, to tell you, I can only imagine coaching kids now, like at college, where people are text messaging them, DMing them, or whatever, and say, hey, we'll give you $10,000 more to come here. And kids are like, bump Jay in Austin. They took a chance on me, but I'm out. Thanks, coach.
Also, the Wisconsin-Miami thing.
Right. And that's pettiness, because I think, matter of fact, I won't say I know. I think under good information, I think Wisconsin gave him a little bit of a steak fee or cash. He said, thank you very much. Christmas is great, Mom and Dad. And then here comes Miami, rolling up there and say, listen, man, look at these palm trees, man. Don't you just want to be at home? Probably got on the computer, Googled Madison, Wisconsin, -4, -40 with wind chill.
Miami, 84, 4-mile-an-hour breeze.
And then they were rolling in too. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stay here because they ain't make a bowl game. So you right there where Miami was doing it. These kids. I think you just got to coach the kids that are here. You got to sell your program the best you can. Not the best you can. Just sell your program and be. I'm assuming if I was a coach, I'd just be honest with them. This is where I see you, and this is what I can do for you. My track record's good. I think you'd be great here. I wouldn't be talking to you if I didn't want you.
Right.
I'd like you to come here. If you come here, it's going to be the best decision in your life. And then if they're here, I'm going to make good on that. And you got to coach them up. You got to hold them accountable while they're here. And then you got to re-recruit them probably. I used to think you had to re-recruit them twice. That's each signing period. You got to re-recruit these dudes like every 2 weeks.
Gosh. 104 different.
Actually, for what's 52 divided by 4?
13.
12 times. Not doing odd numbers. You got to recruit 12 times. Some more than that.
So we're talking like 4.3.
I think it's average. 12 times you're going to have to make sure that they're there. So it's once a month.
Times 105.
And once a month. Some guys it might be 30. And then some guys it might be
annually.
And then it might be like 2 or 3. So it averages out like once a month. Like you got to meet. Somebody's got to talk to them and say, hey man, you good? Everything's straight. And that's where kids I think sometimes get when I ask you, are you good? Just like, give me more.
Yeah.
And that's where you gotta, I'm sure that they, gotta address that. But anyways, I think getting this young man is a good step in the right direction. And obviously, it was probably a little bit slow start to 26, but it's going to uptick. And I think the best recruiting tool, just like your best NIL, is winning.
Always has been, always will be.
Yeah, and so Nebraska's looking forward to do that. But I think the ability to recover, and I think you get a sense of guys. Like I can only talk about when I coach. I knew when guys were thinking about leaving. All of a sudden, the parents be looking at you crazy. They don't, they don't respond to the emails at the end of the summer. They get awful busy, and I kept a small roster so everybody played. But, I had guys that just wanted to shoot. I was like, that's more to basketball than shooting or whatever, or kind of wanted to just do their own thing, and then they some left and some came back. And that's what happens sometimes. But I think these guys have a good enough pulse, ideally, and hopefully that you kind of know when a guy's going to decommit, and you know what, you don't turn your nose up at him and shun him. You say, okay, good luck, but you had him committed at some point. So if it doesn't work out to wherever he ends up going, and he's gotten better, and there is a spot for him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because don't think that these guys that are coming in afterwards or in any position are already on the roster won't get better. Well, then you might not be as appealing. I'm sorry. And that's the chance that you take as a player and then also as a coach.
In the last just 2 weeks for Nebraska, if you go back to the 10th, so when they get Rex Waterman, right, tackle out of Chandler. Then also today they pick up Jamal Rule, 3-star running back out of Charlotte.
What is high school he at?
Charlotte Christian.
I gotta ask my boy about
it. Okay, 3-star, according on 3. Hayden Ainsworth, another offensive lineman, interior guy out of Mississippi.
Yep. He ain't from Meridian though.
He is not.
He's from Biloxi.
Yeah,
he got like a lot of shrimp and gumbo down there.
A few days ago, Luke Sorensen, tight end.
Yeah, from California.
And now today, again, Danny Odom. It's been a really good 2 weeks for Nebraska football and recruiting.
Yeah, you got to get in where you fit in. And then also, I think with the change of, being able to send potential contracts to guys have to make decisions. You're not going to be able to slow play people if you're not in the position to slow play people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're going to have to make decisions. And at this point, you've talked to all the coaches probably a million times. You've probably been on 2 or 3 unofficial visits to multiple places over the last couple of years. You should know where you want to go. What do they got to tell you? What kind of love they got to show you?
That they haven't already.
And also, you want to make sure that you're making the best decision kind of in lock and step with the whatever school you're going to and coaches. Because you don't want to go play for a coach that's kind of like, oh, yeah, you're all right. You all right. I know you.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if it, say assistant coach goes somewhere else in the present, the previous school that he was at is recruiting you. It is a start over process, but not fully.
Yeah.
The same structure is there. The same fan base is there. I'm assuming the same head coach is there. Maybe the coordinator's there and the assistant coach is there. You just got to jive with the head position coach if that's the case.
And Danny Odom gave a lot of credit to Addison Williams, new defensive backs coach, for being the biggest reason that he chose Nebraska. So that's a guy that was just hired, this offseason?
Yeah.
A few months ago, already paying dividends. That's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah, you want to be able to close deals, and I know that the relationships with coaches that end up moving on is a big deal. But then also that doesn't mean that you can't create a relationship with a new coach.
Right.
And
do you think guys give new position coaches enough of a chance to build a relationship with them? Or if their old position coach leaves, you think they're a little happy to get in the portal?
Now the question, I can answer better. Do you think you are on the roster presently, or guys that are getting recruited?
Let's start with on the roster. New position coach comes in. Do you think enough players give the new coach a chance?
I'd like to think they do, but also I think it's just how the new position coach comes in. I think the best attitude or outlook to look at it is like, these are my guys. I took this job because I can coach these guys.
The Matt Rule approach, right? It's not previous staff's guys. You're on the team. You're one of my guys.
Urban Meyer said when he went to Ohio State, he was like, hey, you're here. And the reason why I think that's important is because I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for anybody else. If I was going to take a defensive coordinator, linebacker job, or D-line, whatever coaching job, right? I would take the job on the fact that I got to coach everybody on that roster that's there.
Yeah.
And everybody that's already committed at whatever position group or whatever, like if I was a coordinator, these are my guys. Now, I know you might have some that might leave just because of a new person, but I also think I can retain some of those guys if I'm giving you a chance.
Right.
And it's no different than when, Coach Dana came in. He's like, oh man, there's some guys that different eyes and different expectations. That's the emergence of Emmett Johnson.
Right.
Dante Dowdell is now a Kentucky Wildcat. So different styles of different coaches. Or Mekhi Bear, he essentially, was on the outs with the previous staff. You come in here with Tony White and the whole thing, and the coach just says it doesn't matter what you did before, you do it now, you're going to play. And he comes down against Minnesota, makes a couple plays on special teams. Next thing you know, somebody gets dinged up, leads the team in tackles against Colorado. The rest is history, and now he's at North Carolina. So, you can find diamonds in the rough. I always feel like that. I always say this about the NFL. Like when you go, I know Kevin Stefanski's there, but when you go to take over a team that, you gets hired, generally when you get a new head coach, the team's been losing.
Right.
Very rarely do you, a coach retire, like Bill Cowher retired, whatever, right? You can't tell me everybody on that roster, on an NFL roster, is garbage. That you got to just say, you know what, nobody's good. It's humanly it's impossible.
Not how it works.
These are the greatest athletes of all time, the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 0.5%,
right,
and the 1% of that in the world playing this game. So, and then also like in the, the structure of it, not everybody's a bad employee. I know you want your people, you want your players, but also I think you can accumulate more players and you can accumulate more people or more like administration or whatever by coming in and seeing if there's a partnership. And it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, it won't be.
But I'm saying when you come, it doesn't have to be perfect. So I think like when you think of this, being able to re-recruit players, go and sign players, having new coaches, Addison Williams coming in and doing his thing. Not a lot of turnover in the defensive back room, obviously with the 105 and kids being able to be grandfathered in. We'll see what happens once you get closer to the season and where that break is. But I think, the best thing you could do as a coach, and I've always said this, is be as honest as you can in or around coach speak. Because football players are like wolves. They sense BS a mile away. There's not one football player, and I've been around some really good Hall of Fame players, play with them. Not one player gravitates to BS. And I don't know, no athlete does, because it's hard enough to go out there and play. Last thing I do is you yank my chain and be like, go out there. You tell me to go right, and I'm supposed to go left.
Well, if you see one set of actions happening behind closed doors at practice, or substitution patterns working one way in games, and then coach goes in front of the media and says something different, you're supposed to believe your eyes or your ears? You're going to believe your eyes more often than not.
Yeah, there's an old saying: I can't hear what you're saying because your actions speak so loud. Show me something. They speak. Now there is I do think athletes have a little bit more of, or some have a little bit more reality of, I understand decisions or situations based on the climate, just the way the world is. There's some really good players in the NFL coming out of training camp that'll get cut just based on they invested in a guy that hasn't matured yet, but they're locked in a contract with him. But then you know what? That player usually ends up working out somewhere else. It's a tricky line, because you want to make sure that you are honest as you can, but then also you want to make the difference between motivating and all that stuff. And so it's the best coaches that I've ever been around kept it real, and sometimes they kept it way too real. And you know what? You got to be willing to take it. You can't ask for it, and then when they give you the 1,000% real, it's natural you're going to be.
Dang, coach, I didn't want it like that.
No, you're going to be taking back some. But then also you got to say, okay, at least I know where it's at. Now I got to go prove you wrong. I'll never forget. I'll say this real quick. When I was in my 4th year in Buffalo, and Greg Williams was in, and Miles Aldridge was a coach that came in, and I was established starter, but I was the youngest one.
Yeah.
So I was kind of more like, I did my thing, and I always kind of, I was a late 5th round pick, so I always kind of was fighting that up here. I hadn't got a second contract. I'm fighting for it. Man, he came up to me. We about to play Pittsburgh. He said, listen, he looked at me. I'll never forget, man. He looked like Nick Nolte. I used to mess with him. And I used to when he used to get stressed out, I used to see him outside the back in the facility smoking heaters. So I was like, man, you got them Virginia Slims or what you got? He's like, I got Newports. right? So I was like, yeah, you've been around some brothers, right? So I was cool with him. So he came up to me as we're going into the locker room. You better play good tonight, or so I'm gonna try to get rid of you, or they might make a move. I was like, say less. Now, I can tell you what, my sphincter muscle was tight as I ran all in there. Like, all right, now I got to get out. Now, I'd worked hard. I'd been a productive player, and I didn't want to. And so it all worked itself out.
You didn't say you were a good teammate, so.
A good teammate. A good teammate. But I mean, those are. But listen, I had challenged him at one point after a preseason game. Like, look, dog, you got to keep it real. Like, what's the deal? There it is. And it worked itself out. The way it's got to be. Anyways, we'll take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this bad boy. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Attention baseball and softball players. The Nebraska Dominators are looking to add players to their baseball and softball teams for the 2026 season. Tryouts are happening now for all age groups, ranging from 7 years old to 14 and under for baseball and 7 years old to 18 and under for softball. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more information today.
Load up on meat and more this summer at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through June 24th are $1 off ground beef, 15% off on aprons, 15% off cornhead beer, and buy one, get one 50% off on brats and hot dogs, limit 2. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Is your child 7 to 8 years old and wanting to get involved in competitive baseball or softball? The Nebraska Dominators have been active in the youth sports community since 1994 and are currently holding tryouts for their 7U and 8U baseball and softball teams. Visit the Nebraska Dominators Facebook page for more info today and provide your player the path to a successful and enjoyable youth sports experience with the help of the Nebraska Dominators.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Quick segment. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. Championship weekend. You had Florida Panthers starting the party off. LSU Tigers bum rushing Coastal Carolina. And then OKC taking advantage of an unfortunate injury with Halliburton, and really that third, like OKC always does, just let you hang around and hit you with a couple body blows, and then you cannot. They just didn't have the firepower to go, and they were probably the better team. I think if I like Indiana's chances, the way that game was going with Halliburton still active or still healthy. I think we're talking about a catastrophic dookie down the leg with OKC, but
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Let's also not forget Indiana led at halftime.
Yeah,
that's been glossed over. The Pacers led at halftime.
Yeah, and you're so close to it yet so far. So there's also a lot of regret, the collateral damage of losing a star player, a good leader for them. So they got a lot of retooling to do. I want to ask you, Austin, real quick, back to baseball. We got about 2-3 minutes, and I'll give my opinion. What's your thought on my man from Coastal Carolina getting ejected?
Man, that's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. I will tell you, Nick and I are talking about that coming up on Baseball Corner next.
Okay.
Don't want to give too much away. I think it's a really crappy look from the umpire who has a history of doing this. I don't want to let Kevin Schnall completely off the hook. He might have said something that he didn't admit to, that we haven't been told. And the bottom of the first is a wild time to go that ballistic for both parties. I think both guys could take a little bit of a chill pill, try to handle it between innings.
So, yeah, I think it was definitely too quick. I think sometimes as an umpire or as an official, referee or whatever, sometimes you have to understand the magnitude of the game. Coastal Carolina just lost for the first time in like 28 games, 26, 20.
Yeah, they haven't lost since April 22nd.
Right, so they did took their first loss, and it was a hard loss. And then you have to tee it up less than 24 hours. What I mean by teeing up, you got to play the next day.
20 hours later.
20 hours later. Pressure, feeling like you didn't get a couple calls, maybe, right? Feeling like LSU's been on the good side. So all that thing goes in, and then also understand that Coastal Carolina's coach, manager, whatever you want to call him, also is trying to set the tone for his team.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you let anybody disrespect you, but also you can get their respect by how you handle it. Also, you have to have self-awareness of who you are and why you're there in college umpiring versus the major leagues.
Yeah.
Don't let
you got canned for ejecting 23 guys in 5 years.
Right. And you don't have the leeway as, say, like Austin, doing his third College World Series final or championship game, and you have no blip, and it's like, oh, it takes a lot for Austin to throw somebody out.
Yeah.
He's giving him 2 or 3 warning. You can stop the game and say, listen, we're not going to do it. We've seen it in the NBA. We've seen it in the NFL. We've seen it in college. We're not going to go this way. So I think it was overstep. And then, he has some responsibility as well. I'm going to say this about what my grandfather told me. He says, I'll never forget when he told me. He says, somebody says something to you that you don't like. He's like, try to blow that off. Right? He said, because it doesn't mean anything if it doesn't.
If you don't let it.
But if it doesn't attach to you, if it's not. He said, they put your hands on you. He's like, you put them into the ground. What I'm saying is like, what could he have said in that moment that you couldn't understand? Because if you tell me I missed 3 balls or the third one, chances are I'd miss at least 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
Right.
And how he articulated the message, you're going to be that mad at it. You can't be that mad. So either way, it's a bad look, and it kind of overshadowed because LSU was a dominant team and represented up in Omaha once again.
It's just unfortunate, too, in this whole weekend of championships. I mean, Florida and Edmonton was fine, but then you have CWS marred by an ejection in the bottom of the first. And then Game 7 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, the story of the postseason, Achilles is all gone. It's just unfortunate, man.
Yeah, but that's the way it goes. Next year it'll be, man, it's great shooting and great hitting or whatever it is. So that's sports. It's a byproduct of life. So we appreciate you listening. Old school to new school way. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100, or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms, especially this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and breezy with the high near 89. Tonight, showers and storms are likely below near 69. And tomorrow, with a continued chance of showers and storms with an afternoon high near 88. I'm meteorologist Kyle Mucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Starter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today.